As I do with every update for Grounded, I want to quickly cover all the new additions to the game in the Bug Strike Back update. Before we begin, I want to thank Matthew Campbell, Stephen Van, and all my other channel members for helping make videos like this possible. You can support the channel by joining today via the join button below or the link in the description. Thanks again to all my channel members. Let's get started. Before we jump in and take a look at all the new items and all the new additions in the Bug Strike Back update, the first thing I want to talk about is something that's going to impact all gameplay, whether you're continuing your existing saves or whether you are starting a fresh save. And that's going to be that you have to repeat. You're going to have to go back and recollect all the chips from all the labs. So in this update, you're going to notice that I think I still have one chip left to collect. Yeah, the one that's up here in the Termite Hill. That's the only one that I have not gone to. But you're going to have to, and on this save, this is my main survival solo save. I completed everything in the game leading up to this update. You will, when you load up the update, you're going to have to go back. You're going to have to go back and repair Burgle. The Oak Tree Lab has changed a little bit. It looks a little bit different. There's no longer a Tase T in there, so you don't have to worry about that. But you basically walk in and repair Burgle. It does look a little bit differently. And there's a new feature in there we're going to talk about in just a second. You're going to have to go back and do the hedge, the pond, the Black Anthill, the haze. You're going to have to do all of those. You're also going to have to get all the other chips. The way it works is the chips have been combined. Let me see if I have them here. So there's now basically the super chips, and then there's other chips. So they've been segmented. Each of the labs I just mentioned, the hedge, the pond, the Black Anthill, and the haze all have super chips. These are just like the chips were before. They're going to unlock different things. You will have anything you've unlocked will still be unlocked for crafting materials. There are a couple of new items that are locked that you'll have to, once you get the chips again, you'll be able to unlock them. We'll talk about those in just a little bit. And one other feature I want to mention before we jump in and look at the new items is this new ASL terminal here. So what this does is this is available at any field stations you have gone to or that you've unlocked. And what it's going to let you do, I believe it's unlocked once you repair Burgle. Yeah, once you repair Burgle, I believe these are unlocked. I think you just have to use the biometric scanner that's inside of the Oak Tree Lab. Now, that's one other change. All of the labs now have biometric scanners. The labs should look pretty much exactly the same as before, with the exception of the Oak Tree Lab changed a little bit. And the other labs that did not have biometric scanners, I know the Haze Lab had a biometric scanner, but now all the labs have biometric scanners, I believe. Definitely the hedge and the pond. I believe the Black Anthill Lab does too. I just can't remember. But you're gonna have to use that to access different basically to unlock the rest of the lab, the lab when you access it. And once you get this ASL terminal unlocked, like I said, after you repair Burgle, what you're gonna do is you can go in here. These are available in any field station, and so basically what's gonna be is it's gonna be a way to remotely communicate with Burgle. So now the only time you're actually gonna have to go to Burgle is to turn in those chips. You will see the science shop is in here. And I've already bought everything, so anything you can unlock is going to be in here. All the quests are going to be in here. So you see I have these 3 quests down here. So new quests daily. You can also turn in, once you complete the quest, you don't have to go back to Burgle anymore. And of course, the Milk Molar upgrade system is all accessible here. So no longer will you be required to go all the way over to the Oak Tree Lab every time you want to interact with Burgle. Other than getting the chips and turning them in, you'll basically just be able to communicate with him from the field stations using these terminals, and they're all over the map. So that's going to definitely be a huge time saver. So with that out of the way, let's jump in and take a look at all the new items that were added in the Bug Strike Back update. So real quick, I will say up front, there are no new weapons, there's no new armors, there are no new bugs in the game or insects. There is a new enemy. It's basically a reskinned version of the Tase T called a Ruz T. You will find them in the Hedge Lab. That'll probably be the first time you run into them. I'm not sure if they're in any other labs. I don't remember seeing them, but they're definitely in the Hedge Lab area. And they're basically just like a weaker version of the Tase T. So other than that, there's no new, you shouldn't run into any new enemies unless they sneak one in after the public test server ends. But let's take a look at the resources real quick. So on the first page, what we're going to be looking at here is there are some new upgrade things. So armor upgrades were added in this update, and we'll talk about that in just a second. The new resources associated with armor upgrades are going to be pupa leather plates, which are made from pupa leather scraps, bug loop, and berry leather plates. You got the pupa leather scraps here. Essentially what you do is you get the pupa hide from the upper yard, you put it in a grinder, and it will turn it into pupa leather scraps, which you can then craft into the pupa leather plates. Berry plates follow a similar path where it's basically turning berry leather put berry leather into the grinder, it makes the scraps, combine it with bug rubber and a grub leather plate, and you'll make your berry plates. So here we have the berry leather scraps. Then last but not least, we have the grub leather scraps and the grub leather plates. Grub leather plates are made by putting grub hide into the grinder. So you do not currently, unless they change this after I'm recording this, which I don't believe they're going to, you do not have to make grub hide into grub leather. You just put the grub hide into the grinder. It will make the grub leather scraps, which then can be combined with sap and crude rope in order to upgrade your armor. And like I said, we'll talk about armor upgrades in just a second. On the weapon and tool page, the new things that are in this update, the only one that's on this page is going to be the Everchar torch. This is basically the higher tier torch. It's going to provide you more brightness. It's going to give you more light when it's dark out. And it also can be repaired unlike the other torches. So this requires a charcoal chunk, the bug loop, green shield bug parts, which are new. We'll talk about those in a minute, and lint rope. So this is more towards the latter game resource, or latter game tool that you're going to end up getting. Over here on the basically the healing page, food page, the only new change here, the only new item is going to be the charcoal canteen. This is made from pupa leather, lint rope, and ever charcoal chunks. This also has durability, unlike the other canteens. And hopefully they fixed the bug. It seemed like it was a bug with it in the PTS. When you were scooping up clean water, it was still degrading the durability. The way this thing works is it holds up to 5 drops instead of the normal 4 with the Canteen Plus, but it can also convert the dirty water into clean water. Now, that's why it's supposed to have durability, because cleaning the dirty water would use its durability. However, in the public test server, scooping up any water, any soda, any juice was also draining the durability. Hopefully that gets fixed, because otherwise this thing breaks really quickly. Moving along to the building thing, over to the building area, there didn't seem to be any new building pieces, I don't believe. Now, I didn't have much experience with the burr floors. I'm not sure if any of these are new, but I don't believe they are. They all look like they were in the game before this update. Over here on the second page of the building options, you're going to see first is going to be the glue factory. The glue factory looks very similar to the old smoothie station, and it's made with an acorn top and a sprig. You can purchase this after you complete the hedge lab. It'll be available from Burgle. I think it's only like 500 raw signs. And what this does is it allows you to repair your armor and weapons if they are level 6 or higher. So you can, of course, upgrade. Before this update, you could upgrade your weapons up to level 9, and you had to repair it using the globs that you would make for the upgrades. They have changed it. Now there is repair glue, which I'm not even sure if that's going to show up on this. I'm not even sure if I saw that on these pages, but the repair glue is basically, there's a bunch of different parts. I'll show you. I'm going to show you this in just a second. Basically, what you do is you just make the repair glue, and then you can repair any weapon and armor that's above level 6. It's pretty cheap to repair stuff now that's higher level. If it's levels 0 to 5, you will just need to be using the regular bug parts that were associated with it. Next up is going to be some new traps. Before I get to these real quick, the tripwire bomb trap was removed from the game, probably because it wasn't used very much, I would say. I don't think I ever used it. It was just kind of expensive to craft and didn't really work that well. It's been replaced with these 3 new traps. So first up is the explosive burr trap. This is made with spiky bark, fungal growth, and lint rope. Essentially what you do is you place this down, and if you hit it with a spicy weapon, whether it be a melee weapon or a bow with a spicy arrow, it will detonate and explode. It will do damage to creatures. It will also damage structures. So if you blow one of these up close to one of your bases or one of your structures, it's going to take damage, if not break it. Next up is going to be the 2 turrets. So first up we have the pebblet turret, and the burr trap, we already talked about how that was made, but the pebblet turret, pretty cheap to craft. This is going to be unlocked by, I believe this is the Black Anthill Lab. I'm not exactly sure where the explosive burr trap was, because I think I already had it unlocked when I started. So I think maybe for this one, you might just have to analyze one of these parts, maybe the spiky burr. The pebblet turret was definitely, you had to get the Black Anthill chip to unlock it, to be able to purchase it. And this is pretty cheap to craft, as you can see, requiring only acorns, lint rope, flower petals, and weed stem. And what this does is you have to have pebblets either in your inventory or in a nearby storage container. And by nearby, I believe I tested, I think it was something like as long as it's within like 3 tiles of the turret, it'll pull from them and it'll shoot them out. It shoots them kind of slow, but you're gonna have to get used to them. You can place them on you can place them on ramps now and roof pieces and stuff like that. So they can be useful for fighting during raids and stuff like that, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then last but not least on this page is going to be the pollen turret, similar to the pebblet turret, except this shoots pollen. The pebblet turret just does flat damage with the pebblets. The pollen turret will shoot pollen out as ammo, and what it does, it will ground the enemies that you're shooting at. So this is probably going to be most useful against bees or mosquitoes if they're attacking you. This is unlocked via the picnic table chip. Once you turn that in, you can actually purchase it. And then that should do it for this. Actually, no, down here we have the last item on this page, which is the waft emitter. This thing's had its name changed a bunch of times. It does look much better than it did before. This looks pretty cool. Basically what this does is you can place this down, and if you insert specific bug parts, it will attract those bugs to attack it. Now, in my opinion, I would say do this. Test it out for yourself and form your own opinion on it. Unless they've made it, like, buffed it significantly, I will not be using this very much, but I did try it out. It is a pretty cool idea. In theory, like, basically you can just have a raid attack. Like, you can just spawn a raid. Hopefully it has a little bit more balance change and give you better rewards. But basically what you do is you build this thing. It's ladybug parts, ladybug head, bug loop, and clay. Put it on the ground. You press the interact button with it. On mouse and keyboard, it's E. I'm not sure what it is on controller. And you can deposit parts. As an example, you can put in like red ant parts, and you'll get attacked. It'll get attacked by a couple waves of red ants and red soldier ants. As of this recording, it was red ants, black ants, termites, mosquitoes, bees, infected, and spiders, but the spiders were only orb weavers and orb weaver juniors. There were no wolf spiders from what I saw. And for the infected, there was no infected wolf spider. It was just the other infected was what would be attacking. So that's what you're going to track with them, and you can get some parts with it. So basically, it's just a way of repeating the base raids if you want to repeat them. Over here on this page, there was nothing new from what I saw. And then on our last page, this is going to be the resource page. We got a couple new resources. And first is going to be actually, we might only have one new resource in this one that's on this page that we haven't already seen, although we have already seen it. That's the green shield bug part. So now the green shield bug actually drops parts instead of just dropping stink bug parts. It drops these. I think it drops like 2 to 4 or something like that. And you need to craft the charcoal torch. Now there was mention of there possibly being a green shield, an actual green, a green shield bug shield coming to the game. That was found in the data files data mine, but that is not in the PTS as of today when I'm recording this, and I believe the update is going live today. So those are all the new resources. Now let's really quickly talk about armor upgrades, because that's kind of a major new feature. Similar to weapon upgrades, what you're going to need is the smithing station. Basically, you just interact with the smithing station, put in your armor like you would with the weapon, and in this case, because I'm in a creative mode, custom mode, it doesn't cost anything. But the cost of upgrading are 2 grub leather plates for level 1, then it goes 4, 8, 16, 32, and then level 6 and 7 are 5 berry leather plates, and then 10, and then levels 8 and 9 are 5 pupil leather plates and 10 pupil leather plates for level 9. Basically what happens is when you upgrade it, we'll just upgrade this real quick just to show you. Levels 1 to 5 are going to be very similar to the weapons, where you're basically just getting extra, in this case, defense instead of damage, and you're getting the durability. Once you get to level 6, like with weapons, you're going to have a choice. You can either go the bulky route, which is just going to increase your defense and durability by 10% per level, up to a maximum of 65%, or you can go the sleek route. Each armor piece will have a different bonus here. So in this case, it's going to be sprint distance. I think that reduces the stamina usage. So we'll just go that route. Although I have stamina turned off, it's not going to matter. But basically, you're going to upgrade it. Once you make the choice, you're locked into it. And we'll just go all the way up. So that's armor upgrades. For the armor repairs and the weapon repairs, you're going to have the glue factory here. And as you can see here, this is the other new item. This is repair glue. This did not show up in the other page. Repair glue can be made with 2 black ox parts, 8 spider chunks, 4 termite parts, 2 roly-poly parts, 3 antlion parts, 6 stink bug parts, 5 bombardier parts, or 5 ladybug parts. Basically, you deposit these in here, and it'll take a couple minutes. It'll turn into repair glue. The symbol, the little icon will look like this. They stack up to 10 in your inventory. They can repair any armor, weapons, level 6 and above. It doesn't matter if they have 0 durability or 99 durability, they're going to repair them all the way up to the top. At least that's how they were the last time I used them. I don't think anything's changed with them, although you never know with the final there might be some final last minute tweakings for the update when it comes out, but that's how you repair armor and weapons now above level 6. And like I said, if something's level 0 to 5, you're going to be using the normal upgrade or the normal repair cost. So as an example, if I have on my aphid slippers, I believe the repair cost for the aphid slippers would probably be something like raw aphid meat or something like that. I think that's the repair cost. I don't use them that often, so I'm not exactly sure. So those are the major new. That's all the new resources added. Like I said, there was only one new enemy added. One other thing that was added that's a massive change is going to be the base defenses. So there's 3 types of base defenses. There's the waft emitter that I showed you, which essentially, and I can just put one down real quick to show you. So basically, you got to put this. You have to put it somewhere where it can be attacked. If you put it like up on the baseball, it will not trigger it, or they'll just attack other things. And the way this works is you basically place it down, and then you can just deposit bug parts, and it's going to tell you which bug parts you can deposit. If something can't be deposited, it won't let you. Like I said, you can put red ant parts in here, and it'll track red ants and red soldier ants. And this is basically a base defense on demand. The other 2 kind of base defenses are faction raids and mixers. The way faction raids work is there are different factions around the map. They are, I believe, similar to I think they're the exact same ones that are for the waft emitter. Typically, it's going to be one of 2 ways they're going to be triggered. It's either going to be you either kill too many of them or you encroach in their territory too long. As an example, when you go to get the red anthill chip from the red anthill, or if you're just down there exploring, if you kill too many of them or if you stick around in there too long, there is a good chance that there's a chance of a raid happening. And it'll basically tell you the red ants are angry with you or something along those lines. I can't remember the exact text, but that's what it's going to tell you. And then at some point, you could end up getting attacked. If you get attacked, it'll basically show you where they're attacking. Normally, I believe it's the base you're closest to. I don't know exactly how it works because I had a couple bases, and they typically attack the one I was closest to. Although I've had some people have said it's where you have your spawn point set, so not exactly sure. You're gonna have to play with that, and that's gonna probably be I would say, unless they've made any changes before this update actually is live, that might be the most controversial change, because As of today, as of I'm recording this, the only way you can turn them off is if you're playing in a custom game mode. In a regular game mode, they are turned on by default, and you will not be able to change them. If you are in a custom game mode, however, you can go into custom game settings. This is another change where you can actually change a lot of these things. As you can see, some of them are locked on, like all recipes unlock, bug spawn, and the quest. They're either on or off. The rest of these can be turned on or off. Down here, faction reactivity, that will disable faction raids. However, from my testing, if you do disable this, you also will not be able to use the waft emitter either. So be careful of that. But if you're in a regular survival mode, unless they make it where you can have like a one-time change or they do enable that, you're going to have to deal with faction raids. And like I said, you don't necessarily even have to kill them. It could just be that you're in the vicinity of them. People have said they've been getting a lot of bee attacks when they're near the oak tree, because let's see if they actually put in... the beehive was actually moved, and I'll see if I can see it. I don't even know exactly where it is. There you can see the beehive up there. So they've seen people reporting that they built bases somewhere down here on the oak tree, and it's probably because the beehive's up there that you're encroaching on their territory, they're attacking. So perhaps they'll change the aggro range for that, but that's basically the faction raids. That's the way it works. Too many kills or encroaching too long on their territory, and you have to kill a lot of them, because I think I killed something like 50 red worker ants before they even like aggroed me. So aside from that, there's also mixers. So let me mark, there's a mixer, I believe, somewhere over here. Let's go check out the mixers real quick. And there are map changes, which we'll talk about in a second. There's also a new feature. Let's see if we find any bugs along the way, because I do want to show off the new peeper feature. So here we have an aphid, and you'll notice that you can now peep the bugs. So if you use the peeper to peep the bugs, this is giving us the much asked for creature card system, which is essentially the encyclopedia, bug encyclopedia, everyone would call it. Basically, you peep a bug, and the first time you peep it, it's going to unlock a card. And in this example, it's going to show the aphid. The aphid has no weaknesses or resistances. You can do this with all bugs. Bugs can also, they have a chance, I believe it's 1 to 2% chance, depending on the bug or enemy, to drop a gold card. The gold card, as of right now, is just collectible. Perhaps in the future, it'll be tied to some type of achievement or something else like that. But basically, you can get a gold card, so those are just something to keep you active, keep you playing. But this is definitely useful. You can peep all the enemies in the game. It'll tell you their strengths and weaknesses. So like I said, as we're going over here, if we run into any others, I will peep them. We're going to run through some stink bugs here, and they're not going to be aggro to me because I do have I do have aggro turned off. So we'll just see what theirs are. I believe it's stabbing. I do want to go back and compare this to when I did all my testing back like months ago to see how close I was, because I don't think much has changed. So you can just peep them safely from here. And as you'll see for the stink bug down here, there's actually angry, harmless, and I believe there's also, neutral? Something like that. So stink bug here, you're going to see is weak to stabbing and fresh. So if you're using a minty stabbing weapon or minty arrows, that's going to be your best bet. And they're resistant to chopping, so don't use axes, and I believe daggers. And we're almost over here, so we're just going to run over here, and we are going to see ourselves the mixer, hopefully. Now, we're not going to be able to start this. I do believe you have to either repair burgle. I think you have to repair burgle to start this thing up. So this is the mixer here. There are 5 of these around the map. The way these work is you will start them up, and you will get attacked by multiple waves of different enemies. Now, I don't want to spoil everything for you. I'm going to do a video probably for each mixer. Basically, this one's probably going to be the first one you run into. This is in the grasslands. You're going to get attacked by red ants, red soldier ants, lawn mites, and I think there's a couple. I'm pretty sure I got hit by some infected weevils, although I did do co-op and don't remember seeing them, so I'm not sure if they changed that or not. But basically, you're going to get, depending on the area you're in, is going to be what you get attacked by. There is one here in the grasslands. There's one in the haze under the deck. There's one in the sandbox. There's one in the upper yard over here, and there's one in the hedge, I believe, over in this corner somewhere. And each one of them has different enemies that attack. When you complete them, you will get raw science from them. They give 2,000 raw science each, I believe. And you also will unlock a new mutation, which we're not going to see here because I have not completed any. I've not done anything in this game, right? So there's a new mutation called Guard Dog, and I think it's somewhere down here. Basically, Guard Dog, what it does is when you equip it, it gives you extra defense during base defenses. So it'll be useful for mixers. It'll be useful if you're doing the waft emitter. It would also be useful if you're getting hit with a faction raid. You will deal extra damage. I don't know how much it is. There are 3 phases, but I believe you can only currently unlock 2 because I did do all 5 mixers and I only unlocked 2 of them, which leads me to believe the mixers there will be more mixers added in the future. And the mixers, as of right now, they are one-time completion. So once you beat them, that's it. So other than that, there's one other big change that is going to be in the upper yard. So let me run up here real quick and skip ahead. All right, so I'm in the upper yard. What I want to really quickly show you was the beehive is no longer on the picnic table. They have actually replaced it with a honey pot. I do not believe we can get in the honey pot unless they change that. When they first put it in there, you could not get in it. Hopefully they add honey in the future. So there's still bees over there, but you're also going to notice that, let's see if I can still find it. The beehive is somewhere up in the tree. I did see it before from the other side. So it's somewhere up in the tree, that maybe, actually, that might be it right there. So the beehive has been moved up into the upper tree. But what I wanted to show real quick before I wrap this video up is the fact that the upper yard has had a lot of work done to it. Although there are no new enemies in here, you probably do want to come over here and just explore. So if you notice over here to the right of the shed up here, there didn't used to be anything over here. Now there's just tons. They've done a lot of work over here in terms of the terraforming, and perhaps they'll sneak something in the full patch for this. But as of right now, this just is like a cool area to explore. You can gather resources over here freely because there are no enemies, and I'm not sure if they're going to add any in the final update for this before it goes live, but as of right now, there's none. So that's basically over here. There's no new milk molars added in this update. There were like a couple of the armors did have their bonuses changed a little bit. Weapons seem to be the same. And one last thing, kind of like a major thing, is a lot of the enemies had their damage, the damage they deal, balanced a little bit more. So they basically just do more damage. So those are all the changes, all the new items that I have seen in the Bug Strike Back update. Like I said, there's a possibility they might sneak one or two things in with the very final update as it goes live. I think it's supposed to be going live today. There's been some leaks saying it's going live today, so that's why I wanted to get this video out. That's everything in the update. Overall, I think it's a step in the right direction. I do think there are some balance changes that need to be made. I'd love to see the mixers be repeatable. I asked for that several times. Just make the mixers repeatable just so I can run them over and over again, because for me, that's something that I would like to do. But right now, the plan for it is only be one time, but they will consider possibly, maybe hoping down the line, they add it. So anyway, let me know what you think about this update. Once you get a chance to jump in there, I'm probably going to I'm doing a fresh co-op stream with Original Ryan on Fridays, and I have been continuing my main save on my streams on Wednesdays, so I might start fresh this week. Starting tomorrow, if I might start fresh, I might continue what I'm doing. We'll see what's going to happen. I do want to start from the beginning as a solo player and get all the way through the game, just so I can give as much feedback as possible on the progression, because the progression has changed significantly from just about 6 months ago, definitely a year ago, with the weapon upgrades, the armor upgrades, changes to the enemies, all the new parts of the map, the way things are unlocked and stuff like that. There's been a lot of changes, and progression is definitely going to feel different than it did if you've been playing for 6 months or longer. So anyway, thank you for watching. If you got it this far, make sure you hit the like button and consider subscribing for more videos just like this. If you want to support the channel even more, click the join button on the screen right now, and here's another video you might enjoy. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.